Hello everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome to my new video. Today I'll be doing something that is super fun. I made a list of 50 characters from YA books and I'm gonna rank them. These ranking videos have been super popular online and I thought I wanted to participate and make my own. So I picked out 50 characters from books that I've read and I'll be putting them into a list, in a tier list. Of course, all of the artists will be credited down in the description below, so go and check that out. This is the list that I made, so you'll also probably hear my PC in the background because it's humming. It is 50 characters. I feel like it doesn't look like it's 50 people, but it is. I was actually quite struggling towards the end. I had 40 characters picked out, and so some of these are just people I didn't even want to add in the first place, but I had to because I had to get to 50. 40 doesn't sound as nice as 50, so that was my concern. Here's the tiers that I made. The first one is called Literary Masterpiece. These are my absolute favorite characters. They deserve the world and they're gonna come in the top tier, the god tier basically. The second one is for the characters that I really love or really like. I don't have a distaste for them. I think they're great characters and I will go grab a beer with them, even though I don't drink, but I just thought it sounded nice and it fit. The third tier is the underrated tier. So that's for the characters that I really like, but I feel like they don't get enough appreciation. They could also go into the beer section, but the beer characters are also all well liked, so they are not underrated. That's why there's two different sections. The fourth tier in the middle is the neutral one. It's the I don't mind them. I don't have particular love for the character, but also I don't mind reading about them. I don't skip their chapters. I'm just there and I'm reading it and it's fine. They're just there. They're a character. The blue tier is the not the best tier. This is for the characters that did some fucked up shit and honestly they're not that great and I don't really like them that much. The second to last tier is the overrated tier. I feel like if I have underrated, I also need overrated, and so that's why I made that. A lot of characters are overrated, and people don't like hearing it, but it's true. And then the last category is called Who. For the characters who I don't like, I think they're overrated, I think they're annoying, and I'm just gonna pretend like I don't even know who they are. Before I start, I'm gonna make a disclaimer. If you don't agree, that's fine. I don't get butthurt over characters. I think it's really nice how you can have discussions about characters and how everyone likes someone different and has different reasoning for it. If you disagree with any of these, which I'm sure there will be people who disagree, comment down below how you would have changed your choices. And, you know, if people want to make their own videos, go ahead. I think it would be really fun to see other people rank characters. I also think it's gonna be nice because I'm gonna tell you who these characters are in the bottom, because for some they look very similar, so it's like, who are these people in the fan art? This is just for series I read. For example, there's no the Mortal Instruments character here because I've never read anything from that series. I'm gonna get started. They're all in alphabetical order because I had to save all these pictures and then put them in there, so the first character that is here is Aedion from Throne of Glass. It's been a very long time since I read Throne of Glass and I don't particularly remember many of the characters. I just remember that Aedion was a character that always irritated me. I'm gonna try to make this spoiler free for the most part. I mean, some of these series have been out for forever, but I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read one of these. I think I want to put Aedion in not the best because honestly he just rubbed me the wrong way. I can't I can't put my finger on it right now because it's been so long, but I was never very fond of him. Never like, oh my god, he's so hot and blonde. Also, he wanted to marry Aelin and that is his cousin, so... But Rowan is also related to her, so maybe that's just a thing in that world. And then, speaking of Aelin, she's the next one. This is fan art of Aelin, which I think is so pretty. And honestly, I don't know... I feel like people either love or hate her, and for me, she's gonna come and I don't mind them. And I really liked the whole assassin part about her. As soon as the series became convoluted with characters, like Heir of Fire onwards, I was like, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what to think about this. Especially because a lot of the new characters that were introduced I wasn't very fond of. I didn't really like them. Aelin, however, sometimes she annoyed me, but most of the time she didn't. I didn't mind reading about, I mean, she was a protagonist, I had to read about her. I just think I liked her better in the beginning than towards the end, and so she's gonna go and I don't mind them. I don't mind her. She's fine. I don't go on Tumblr to look up fan art of her, but I also wouldn't mind seeing it. So that's that. Next up, I have Aidas, I think his name is, from Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. That is her newest book, and I have 2 videos ranting about it on my channel. They're both like half an hour long, so you don't have to watch them. While I didn't like the plot of the book and most of the characters, I have to say that Aidas was one of the characters that I really liked. I'm gonna put him in Would Grab a Beer With. I don't think he's underrated. A lot of people talk about him, even though he only makes like 2 appearances. I think that he's very interesting and he holds a lot of potential. I don't want to speak too much on who he is and what he does, just in case people haven't read it yet. But he is super interesting, and also I love cats, and he has a cat in the fan art. I also think the fan art is really cute. So why are all these people blonde? Next up is Amren from acotar, and I've been thinking about Amren a lot, which is really weird because I didn't really think about her much when I was reading the series. I'm gonna put her in underrated because I believe that people don't appreciate her enough. She is one of the most interesting and badass characters in that whole series. I have said it before and I will say it again. I would love to have a prequel just about Amren. I didn't really like where Sarah J. Maas took her character, relationship-wise, as the books went on, but you know, that's just Sarah J. Maas fashion. I love how she's very like, she's just Amren. She's very badass, but she isn't like annoying badass, which is the case a lot of the time. I don't think she gets enough appreciation for who she is, and I would love to read a prequel about her. While editing, I realized I forgot to add Suriel from the acotar series. I'm really sorry, by the way, because he was on my list, on my written list, but I just forgot to add him in. Underrated or I don't mind them. Suriel, I think, is a nice character. I thought he was really interesting. I think his power is very interesting, and I wish we would see a novella from him because I think that would be really nice to know a little bit more about that guy. Bryce from Crescent City. That's who this girl is, and she's gonna go into overrated. I'm sorry. This is all just Sarah J. Maas characters so far. I'm sorry, but I mean, she has so many people. As I said, I have the 2 videos on my channel about Crescent City, but I took Bryce apart in one of the videos. I think she is super annoying. I don't think she's anything special. Sarah J. Maas got so much praise for Bryce's character because she's a little bit bigger. She's described as a little bit thicker, but I think she got too much praise for doing the bare minimum, you know what I mean? Just like when she had More be gay and everyone was like, yes, our inclusive queen, and it's like, you're doing the bare minimum of what you should do and you're getting way too much praise for that. So I think Bryce is severely overrated. I didn't enjoy her character at all. I didn't enjoy most of the book, most of the plot, and she was really annoying. She was really annoying, I'm sorry. Next up is Chaol from the Red Queen series. I loved the first book. I think after the first book it kind of went to shit, sorry. And I did get Warstorm recently, which is the last book, so I might read that, but the thing is I have zero recollection of anything that happens in these books besides the first book, and that also is like not much. I found it very difficult to keep up with everything that was going on because I didn't care about the characters enough to also follow the plot precisely, if that makes any sense. So Cal for me is going to go into the I don't mind them section. I never really felt for him. He's the male love interest, but I didn't give a fuck about him. I didn't know what he was doing half of the time. Cardan from the Folk of the Air series. Now, I've made videos on the Cruel Prince and the Wicked King, and I have to say that I think Cardan is severely overrated. The thing is, he's just so extra. I think he gets way too much credit for doing the bare minimum. I'm gonna read The Queen of Nothing, but so far I haven't enjoyed the romance between Jude and him because I feel like it's been more of a like bullies to lovers story than a enemies to lovers. They were bullying each other, and then in the next book they're almost having sex, you know what I mean, like without any, like the transition was so rushed. I do think he's hot though, so that's why he's not in the who category but in the overrated. This is Cassius from the acotar series, and I love Cassian. I expressed that in my Nesta video that I made a while back that I think Cassian is an amazing character, and I'm happy that I get to read more about him in the upcoming series. So even though I love him so much, I'm gonna put him in the would grab a beer with. I don't think he is particularly like splendid, exceptional, never before seen character, which none of the characters are in Literary Masterpiece, but still, for me, it's like, it's not a character where I'm like, I would die for you. I would go grab a beer with him though, so fits. The next character is someone who is not as popular. That is Cassius Ubelona from the Red Rising trilogy. I'm saying trilogy because listen, I'm getting so heated. The author of the Red Rising trilogy thought he had to add onto the series and write a book that takes place 10 years after the events of the last book in the original trilogy. I read the first book, it's in my wrap-up that I uploaded a while back, and I rated it 1 star. That book sucks ass. However, the only reason I got through it and read it completely was because of Cassius. Cassius is a literary masterpiece. The whole trilogy is fucked up. There's so much problematic shit in that, but that's just because it's a problematic world. You have to understand the context of the world. Chaol from the Throne of Glass series. As I mentioned earlier, I don't have like many memories of that series. My humble opinion is that Chaol got way too much hate and he's kind of underrated. He got his own book, right? But everyone was like, why the fuck does he get his own book? He got so much shit for that, and so many people were like, I'm not gonna read it because it's not about Aelin and the others, it's just about Chaol. I was one of those people. Once I was reading the book, I did actually enjoy it. I can't tell you what happens in it, it's been too long, but I did get hooked, and this bitch went through so much, and he still gets so much shit for it. What has he ever done except be there? Shout out to Chaol, you're underrated as fuck. This is Charlotte Branwell from the Infernal Devices. I put her in here because I needed 50 people and I was missing some people, so that's why she's here. I didn't want to put her in originally. I don't mind Charlotte. She gives me boomer vibes. She's supposed to be 20 something and she acts like she's 40, which is not a bad thing, but you know, it kind of puts me off. The thing is, I've only read the first book and I'm halfway through the second book, which is Clockwork Prince. So my opinion might have changed on her, like, if I finish the book, but for now, I'm gonna put her and I don't mind her, because she's sweet, she's there, and... But whenever she does have a scene where she's, like, talking and shit, I do skip ahead, though. Like, I check when gem appears for the next time. This is Danika from Crescent City, and she's gonna go in the beer section. For the short time, I mean, that's not a secret, she's only there for 3 chapters, but for the 3 chapters that she was there, I thought she was one of the most bearable characters in the book. She showed up and she showed off, and that is exactly what I want. I wish her and Bryce would have been gay, but they, you know, it's Sarah J. Maas! What am I asking on? Like, I'm asking too much. I don't really know what to say about her. I think the time that she did have on page, I really enjoy reading her. And so she's gonna go and grab a beer with. She's not underrated. She gets a lot of praise, so that's where she belongs. This character whose head was cut off, sadly, I'm so sorry. This is Darrow from the Red Rising trilogy. He's not the best. I'm only gonna put him there though because of Iron Gold, which is the 4th book in the series, the continued series. He sucks ass in that book. Literally everything that he's been through in the 3 books is kind of undone. He went through so much character development, and then in that 4th book, I felt like it was just like completely, it vanished. He went back to the way he acted in the 1st book, and it was just, he was acting like a fucking child, and that man is supposed to be 30 years old in the 4th book. So he's not the best. We don't stand the Reaper of whatever the fuck where he's from, I forgot. Reaper. Fuck him. Next up is Dorian from Throne of Glass. I don't mind him. To be quite honest, I don't remember much of Dorian. I don't remember feeling any particular way about his character. He's there. He is of importance, but what he actually does is a mystery to me. And so I don't mind him. I thought he was kind of boring, honestly. Don't come for me. I thought he was kind of boring. Also, he seems to have a little bit of longer hair, so I really like that. That looks cute. So keep that haircut. This is Elaine from acotar. Aelin is severely overrated in my opinion. So many people stan her. For what? This bitch doesn't do anything. She, literally, you take her out of the book. Nothing changes. The reason she's going into overrated and not anything else though is because she treated Feyre horribly. True, she was compliant and complicit to everything Nesta did and didn't stand up for Feyre either. So she also was part of that abuse, that mental abuse that Feyre suffered. But she did come up with an excuse. It was half-assed. The excuse was half-assed, but she does try. And so I just think she's overrated because she doesn't do much. She's there and that's it. Do something. This is Elias Victorious from An Ember in the Ashes. Before I joined book Twitter, I thought An Ember in the Ashes was a really popular series, but apparently it's not. Elias, I remember like it was yesterday. I was reading the first book and I was so in love with this guy. I was like 14. I remember reading it and I had a boyfriend at the time. And I was reading it, I was like, I would write Elias Victorious here and like a heart, and then I would hide it so he didn't see it. Because I just loved Elias so much. Elias is gonna go in literary masterpiece. I'm sorry, you need to read An Ember in the Ashes. Only read the first book though. I don't know what happens in the second or in the third book. No recollection. I just read A Reaper at the Gates, which is the third book, this year. But I don't know what happens in it. He's so perfect. I always thought that he had light hair. I thought his hair was like golden, dirty blonde, light brown. And then I saw fan art of him and I realized his hair was black, so... in my head, he's blonde. He is literally the reason I want to name my son Elias. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Next up is Elide. Oh my god, there's so many Throne of Glass characters here. I want to... This is Elide from Throne of Glass. And she's also only in here because I needed characters to fill up for the 50. I didn't want to put her in here originally because I didn't have much recollection of anything she did. But I think she's underrated. Elide is so badass. And honestly... sometimes she was annoying me, but that's not hard. I'm annoyed easily. She was very strong. She was abused. She's very strong. I wish she would be gay with Manon, but you can't have everything in life, I guess. She fought for herself and she stood up for herself, and I think that she slaps. I think Elide slaps and she doesn't really get any appreciation. I never see anyone talk about Elide. Next up is Feyre from acotar. She's either gonna go in I Don't Mind Them or overrated, but I'm gonna put it in I Don't Mind Them. Feyre is a difficult character for me. She literally just got her power handed to her and she did like, you know, cute fighting montage where she learned how to fight with her power, but still, I rolled my eyes at her POV multiple times and that's why she's going in I Don't Mind Them. Because she's not underrated. I wouldn't grab a beer with her. Fuck her. But also... she could also go in overrated, you know, but I'm gonna put her in I Don't Mind Them. I didn't mind reading about her. Every time I had to read about Aelin, I was like, forget it. But Feyre is like, I mean, I couldn't escape her POV. What was I supposed to do? This is Helene Aquila from An Ember in the Ashes. I don't mind her either. I don't remember what she does. I just know she sings really good, apparently. A lot of people love her. A lot of people stan her, and it's just really like... I didn't think she was smart in the books. Everything where she was like, oh my god, I think they're planning this and this. I was like, I think it's really obvious that they're planning this and this. It's like, you're not that big-brained. But she didn't annoy me. I think she's a nice character. I get why a lot of people like her, and so I don't mind her. When her POV came on... I mean, when you're in the same book as Elias, it's difficult to go above anything other than I Don't Mind Them. This fella who's also cut off is Henry Branwell from The Infernal Devices. I'm gonna put him in underrated. I really like Henry and I think he's so sweet, and every time someone talks shit about him, I get so sad and I never hear anyone talk about him because he's also a side character and I don't know how old he's supposed to be. Next up, you might think it's Cassian, but actually it's Hunt from Crescent City. I would grab a beer with him, but you cannot tell me that he is not Cassian. I said this in my review that I think she just copy pasted Cassian into the book to make him her Bryce's love interest. He has wings, he has the same hairstyle. He's hot. I don't sarcastic. So that is where Hunt goes because I liked him. He was my favorite character with Aidas. What's his name? Next up, we have Inez from Six of Crows. I don't think she drinks. Maybe you could grab a soda, something like that. I don't know. I think that Inez is a really, really great character. She was amazingly written. I loved reading about her, but it's just she didn't annoy me ever. I really, really like her. That's why she's in the category, but I just don't think that I can't put her up there with good conscience. Who I can put up there with good conscience though is Gem Costas from the Infernal Devices. And I would literally die for Gem. He's such a great character. He makes me so happy, and every time anyone talks about him badly, I get so sad. I think he's so underrated. He could also go in underrated, but just my love for him is so grand. I skip ahead to see when he comes on the page again, because I can't stand Tessa for the life of me. That is Jasper, also from Six of Crows. And I'm also gonna put him in would grab a beer with. You know, I would go grab a beer with him. I wouldn't gamble with him, but I would grab a beer with him. Jasper is a super fun character to read about. I think there's there's nothing to say about Jasper. He's just Jasper, and I love Jasper. Period. I also think he's kind of underrated, but I love him too much to put him in underrated. Also, I'm gonna put another character from the series here, so this is Jude, and I love this fan art, but this is Jude from the Folk of the Air series from the Crew Prince, and I'm gonna put her in overrated. No, you know what? Not the best. No, where am I gonna put her? I'm gonna put her in... There was a category called annoying. She would be the main person in there. I'm gonna put her in overrated with Cardan. See, I'll even put them next to each other so they can be together. But a lot of people say she's really badass, and I see that. I see it, but I can't feel it. She annoys me a lot, her complaining about not being fairy, and also it just annoyed me that so many things were not explained, and she was like, she would have such random dumb thoughts, like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed because I've never seen a fairy pee, and that would just take me out of... I was like, what are you thinking, girl? What issues do you have? Also, I found a lot of things unrealistic that she did, where it was like, she's so badass, but I never understood why she was, like, stronger than other fairies when she's not even fairy. She was stronger than the fairy guys she went against. And I bet they're, like, taller, stronger, with magic, and she just did a little slice and they were dead. So, that's just me, though. Next up, we have the literary masterpiece himself. He's gonna go in the front because he's so great. Cass Brecker from Six of Crows, of course. Every time I talk about Cass, I say this. The moment Freddie Cotter is going to walk on screen in the Netflix show, I will start bawling my eyes out. Cassius is great, right? Elias, love him. Gem, my baby. But Cass, I would die for Cass. Cass is amazing. I love him, and I don't know what to say about him because I love him so much. There's no other character that I love as much as Cass. Even with all the others in Literary Masterpiece, no one beats Cass. If he came up to me and said, break up with your boyfriend and be with me, I would say yes. Sorry. I know we've been dating for 3.5 years, but it's Cass. You don't understand. This is Laia from An Ember in the Ashes, and I'm gonna put her in I Don't Mind Them. She is a character that's been through a lot, and she's been really brave in her journey, but at the end of the day, I can't tell you what she does. I don't know what she does in the books. I only know about Elias. She's with Aelin. You know, I equally don't care about either of them. This is Locke from the Folk of the Air. I'm gonna put him in not the best. He's not the best character. He's actually kind of fucked up, and he actually annoyed me a great bunch. I'm not putting him in Who because I don't hate him. Like, everyone in that series annoys me, and Locke annoys me evenly with the rest. That there wasn't like, it's not, I don't hate him. He's just there, and I know that he's just there to be like a villain. It's just annoying. So he's so predictable in what he does, and it's always like, oh my god, Locke did this great thing, like the wedding looks so amazing, and then I don't even get a description of the venue. This is Lorcan from Throne of Glass. Lorcan is in here because I needed characters to fill it up. I don't remember Lorcan. I'm gonna put him in... I Don't Mind Them. Lorcan, I remember standing when I was reading the book, like when he appeared for the first time with Elide. I think him and Elide together, chef's kiss. He did help her with her period. He like cut up some cloth and then she used it as a as a pet. So that's a feminist icon, and but he did do fucked up shit. So I don't really remember what he did, but he did do fucked up shit. So I don't mind him. I didn't mind reading about him, but I only did mind reading about him when he was with Elide. Otherwise, he would be not the best. This is Lucian from acotar, and Lucian is gonna go in underrated. Lucian was never a character I really focused on, so I can't eloquently speak about him because I don't know every single thing that happens with Lucian involved. But as far as I'm concerned, he was just as abused by Tamlin as Sevro was. By that I'm speaking mentally, I don't know about physical abuse, but he was literally a victim by Tamlin too. He is very much trying to better himself and become a better person. And that is why I believe that Lucian is an underrated character. I think there's a lot of depth to him and people just oversee it and are like, oh my god, he stan Tamlin. We don't stan Tamlin, so we don't stan Lucian. It's just my opinion though. This is Lysandra from Throne of Glass, and I don't really know where to put her. I like everyone I've just put in I don't mind them, but Lysandra I'm gonna put in, I would grab a beer with her. No, I wouldn't do that. Never mind. I don't mind her. Lysandra was a really nice character to read about. She was really badass. I liked how she and Aelin became friends. So it fits that they're in the same category. They can just talk in that. She shapeshifts into like beasts and shit. That is sick. Compared to Tessa, who only shapeshifts into human. That's whack. This is, without any thought, a literary masterpiece. I do have to say though that I liked her better when she was introduced and she was like really bloodthirsty, but she had a great development and character growth. I remember when Manon came on in Heir of Fire or Queen of Shadows, I'm not sure, I think Heir of Fire. I would skip chapters to read about Manon. And if a character makes me do that, they're gonna go in literary masterpiece. It's just that simple. Manon is badass. I love the concept about her with the whole iron teeth and iron nails. Her drinking blood for sport and being so badass. I don't want to spoil it, but her relationship that she ended up in, I don't really, like, I'm not the biggest fan of. The only reason for that is that I think she would have been better off alone. I think she would have been better off single, but with the events of the last book, it's nice that she has someone that she is in a relationship with, if you know what I mean. This is Mare from the Red Queen series, and I'm gonna feel bad that she's the first character in here, but I'm gonna put her in who. Mare is annoying as shit. I'm sorry, she's annoying as fuck. The reason she's in that category is because I don't remember much of the series besides the first book. And everything else I remember is just like single events or lines that stuck to me. And what I remember about Mare is that I was annoyed by her all the time. I didn't want to read because she was fucking annoying, and it's her POV. I don't want to hear from her, and if I have, like, I'm gonna read Warstorm and I'm gonna take that that bitch apart. Shut up. She's badass though, but I hate her. Matthias Halver from Six of Crows, and I don't know where to put him. I really don't. Where am I gonna put him? Sorry. Matthias gets a lot of praise because I'm not gonna say why, but he does get a lot of praise and a lot of people talk about him. He does have some character growth and development, which I appreciate, and I like reading about him, but I only like reading about him when he was with Nina, and otherwise I didn't like him. This is Maven from the Red Queen series. How do I feel about Maven? I think that he slapped in the first book. I was like, but also I was only like, because I had not read much YA, and now if I read that book again I would be like, duh, like really obvious, but I don't really know. Not the best character regarding his actions, however I think he was nicely written, he was nicely developed, and he stayed true to himself, and we love that for a king, but he didn't do the best things, so I can't put him in any higher. He's not underrated either. People talk about him, right? I don't really know. I don't know anything about Red Queen. This is More from acotar. I don't mind her. She was a character that was there, but I never really had a connection with her. I thought she was a lesbian, but she was bi, which we love bi rep, but I can't tell you a single Sarah J. Maas lesbian who's just lesbian. You know what I mean? They're all bi. I know what the issue is with just liking women. Women are great. Fuck men. She kind of annoyed me because she was always very jealous of like Cassian and Ezreal, and like protective, but also annoying about them. Like, they're not, you don't even want to get it on with them. Nesta, I fucking hate her. I keep saying I hate her and I don't want to say that. I strongly dislike her. I have a video up on my channel that's like 40 minutes long and it's me talking about how I dislike Nesta so fucking much. I'm going to read her book and I will see how she develops and everything. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that we're reading from Feyre's perspective all the time and how Feyre sees things. But I mean, actions speak louder than words, sis, and you've done some fucked up shit. So I'm gonna put her in who. I hate her. I dislike her. I don't want to say hate. And go check out my video if you want to know why. Fuck Nesta. Fuck Nesta Club. This is Nina from Six of Crows and I will grab a beer with her. Nina is an amazing character that I think I always loved reading her chapters. I thought she was so interesting. See all of the crows together. That is very, very lovely. Besides Matthias, we don't stand Matthias that much. Next is Rhys from acotar. Not the best. Rhys rubs me the wrong way now that I've like had time to think about this series after I've read it. The only book that I can really remember is Echo Moth. I don't know what happens. I don't have any idea what happens in Echo War. So for me, Rhys is, you know, he has that one scene in Echo Frost, which a lot of people keep talking about, where he comes to the image of his child. Not the best, you know, it's just not the best. And then also the fact that he's supposed to be 500 years old, and I don't know how many years he's ruled, but he never changed the way like women were treated in the Illyrian camps, and that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. He's supposed to be this really powerful, super strong High Lord that everyone listens to, but when it comes to those camps, no one listens to him. Just kill them if they don't listen. That's what I would do. So as much as I like the slow burn in Echo Moth and only the slow burn, he's not the best. Rowan from Throne of Glass goes in who? Fuck Rowan. I don't even want to talk about him. He's so bland. Who is Rowan? I have no idea. He has no flavor, he has no spice, he is just, his character development, I keep seeing people say, it was just from hitting Aelin to fucking her, that was his development, and that is true. I didn't like him, he was the most boring love interest. Oh no, you know who I didn't include? Sam! I didn't include Sam! If Sam was part of this, Sam Cortland from Throne of Glass, he would be in Literary Masterpiece. That guy has made me cry. More than my boyfriend probably, which that says a lot. This is Rune from Crescent City. I don't mind Rune. A lot of people love him, but I found him kind of annoying, I'm sorry. I don't understand why he kept hanging on to Bryce when she was just like treating him like shit. I also think that he wasn't like annoying, he was just boring. That's why I don't mind him. I didn't mind reading about him, but I would skip ahead to see when Hunt comes on next, because Hunt reigns superior in this book. So the next character is Sevro from the Red Rising series. He is going to go into Would Gather Beer with. Sevro is a very different character from many that I've read. He is undeniably loyal to the cause that he believes in. I believe that Sevro is an amazing character. He's supposed to be super ugly. I really enjoy Sevro. I really enjoy reading about him and the scenes he's in, and I think he is a very interesting character because he's just so different from the normal characters you read. Next up is Sophie from the Infernal Devices, and I'm gonna put her in I don't mind her. I really think that Sophie is a nice character because she has the same name as me. She's very interesting, but you know what? I'm gonna put her... No, I don't know where to put her. I'm gonna keep her in I don't mind her. The thing is, with her, whenever I'm reading and I get to read from her perspective, I skip ahead. I do this with every book. I skip ahead. I'm sorry. I think that she has a very interesting story, and I think she's a very interesting character, very fierce, very brave, and she deserves only the best. Period. I don't mind her, but I wouldn't grab a beer with her. I don't know what I would talk to her about. Next up is the Suriel from the acotar series, and I love that I put him in here, but not Sam Cortland. Suriel is a literary masterpiece. I would die for the Suriel. I would die for all of the characters up there. The Suriel is literally the most unproblematic character in the whole series. He appears like 4 times, and he was still the only character I cried about at the end of Echo War. I'm sorry, I'm gonna cry. He deserved so much more. He's so great. He's just spilling the tea all the time. He's just so great. So I hope maybe I would get a Suriel novella. I would buy it. I would write it. If she asked me to, I would write it. Just so I could have it. Next is Tamlin, and I'm gonna put him in not the best. So he's in the same category as Rhys, and I will tell you why. I don't like Tamlin at all. Whereas Rhys I like a little bit, but Tamlin I don't like at all. Tamlin was abusive towards Feyre, verbally and physically. He was really doing the things he did because he thought it was best for Feyre, and he only wanted the best for Feyre. And I don't like him. I don't agree with the things he did, but I remember that one scene in Echo Fast where Rhys shows up at his house and this bitch, Tamlin, is all alone, like has lost everything, completely depressed. And Rhys just rubs it into his face. I don't really know what that scene was. A lot of people say it was shit. It was shit. And so I'm gonna put him in not the best, but I'm also not gonna put him in who because I don't hate him. I thought he was interesting. And it was always fun when he was around because things were happening. So I'm editing right now and I feel like I explained it so poorly why he's in not the best and not who. Tamlin is a horrible character. Just because you understand where the abuse comes from or came from doesn't make it right. But the reason he is not in who is because I'm very indifferent about him. He was never a character I paid particular interest to, whether it was in acotar. I didn't like him in acotar even when he was a good guy. I never cared for him and I didn't even really like the book until Rhys appeared at the end. I'm gonna be honest, it took me forever to finish acotar because I just thought Tamlin was so boring. I don't think he deserves a redemption arc. I think he's a fucked up character and I think it should stay that way. I don't hate him though. I don't hate him. I don't feel anything for Tamlin. Whenever he was on the page, shit was going down. So I was like, okay, Tamlin is there. Things are gonna happen. But I was never like, fuck you, you bitch. He's just like, not even subjectively a bad character. He's just, everyone knows he's a bad character and he's like an anti-hero. And that's that. Just because he's in not the best and instead of who doesn't mean I put him like to the same level as Rhys. Tamlin definitely fucked up more. I mean, that's out of question. He fucked up more. Rhys, I actually I like him, but he hasn't always been the best. And Tamlin is just, he has been the best or was fine, and then he turned into an asshole. So who's vacuuming? I hope I explained it fine. I hope everyone gets it. That category can be interpreted in many different ways, which is why there's so many different characters in here that have done different bad things. Next up is Taryn from the Folk of the Air series, and I don't really know where to put her because I don't mind her. Not the best, never mind. Is a very annoying character, and I've only read the first two books, so I haven't read the last book, but we don't stan her. I don't stan her. I don't think she's overrated. I don't like her. I don't understand why she's there. I don't know what purpose she serves really. And I don't ever think about her. You know, she's there, and whenever she's there and talking to Jude, I get more annoyed by Taryn than by Jude. So maybe I should put her below Jude, but she's not overrated. Jude is overrated. Fuck Jude. This is Tessa from the Infernal Devices. We're almost done. I'm gonna put Tessa in overrated. I really don't like her. I think she's very, very, very annoying. She is very naive, and I think that's just to blame on when this book was written. It was like 2010, 2011, 2013, 12. When was this series published? I don't really know. But it was a long time ago, and I think characters just were popular that way, the way Tessa behaved. I still don't like her. I don't think she slaps. I don't, like, it's so difficult for me because I love Jem and I love Will, but she didn't do anything to be in not the best and nothing to make me hate her. She could also be in I don't mind them, but I think she gets a lot of praise for what? For being there? For making out with Will? And then speaking of Will, he's next, and I'm also gonna put him in overrated. I'm sorry. I have not read the last book. I have not finished the second book. So my opinion might vary when I'm done with that series, but I wanted to make the video now, so that's why I'm here. I think Jem is better than Will, period. And Will gets the praise that Jem could be getting, really. He is not an exceptional character that is different from everything else you've ever read. But I do love the angst with him and Tessa, really, I do. I just don't think that I just think he's very overhyped. I went into the book, first of all, I thought he was also blonde. I didn't know he had dark hair. I think William just sounds like a name that has blonde hair, but that might just be me. But Will is cute, right? And I'll give him that, honestly. I do love the angst and everything about that, but I think he gets way too much praise for being an average character, like an average baddie guy character. Like, I'm mysterious and I can't be with you. I went into the series and I actually got it because everyone on Twitter was talking about it and always talked about it, and that is why I picked it up. And I went into it with already the mindset, I'm going to love Will. I love Will with Tessa. I don't necessarily love Will alone. I think Twitter just made me feel more for him than I should. And then last but definitely not least is Aelin from Six of Crows. He is going to go into underrated because I think this little boy, this precious boy, is severely underrated. I just think that he is super, super sweet. And I loved reading about him. I loved reading about him and Jasper together. I thought they were so cute together. And I just think he doesn't get enough praise. I feel like people mostly talk about Cass and Inej, Nina and Matthias, but I don't see as many people talking about Jasper and about Aelin, and that's something that I think should change because I think they're really sweet together and really great together. And that's my opinion. So this is my finished list. Most people are in I Don't Mind Them, which I already saw coming. I have less people in Who than I thought, but I just don't really hate any characters that much besides the 3 in there. I hope everyone enjoyed me putting these characters in their categories and seeing my opinion on them. I would love to see other people rate the characters just like I did right now and see where opinions differ. The link of the tier list will be down below, so you can also, try it out, maybe add some categories, change it around a little bit. And also, of course, all of the artists will be down below. Please check them out. I wish I was this talented. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this, and I of course hope that I will see you in my next video. Bye!